to my channel. My name is Courtney and welcome to today's postpartum care vlog. Yay! If you've been following along, I've done my birth story, I've done my newborn essential list, and I'm so excited today to sit down and film postpartum care. Because in my opinion, I feel like that's the most important thing to plan for in the whole baby journey. If you're new here, my name is Courtney. I'm a mum of two. I have two boys. Heath is 4 and Phoenix is 4 months old. Oh, it's going so quickly. I create videos about motherhood, living in Cornwall, and sometimes a little bit about endometriosis. I do plan about doing a little bit more into that side of things. But right now, the season of life is motherhood. So welcome to today's vlog. Thank you so much for being here. Please, if you like this video, give it a like and subscribe to my channel because it will really support my work and show me that you guys like this type of content. So let's get started into postpartum. I personally love planning postpartum care. It feels like for 9 months it's all about baby, and then the postpartum care is just like a little sliver of self-care and a little sliver of self-love. And doing it the second time around, I feel like I was more prepared for what to expect. Obviously the first time I had no cooking clue what was going to go on, and we were hit with COVID, so all those plans kind of went out the window. I was really determined with Phoenix to sit down and take it a bit more seriously, make sure that I had all the things that I needed to look after myself, look after my mental well-being, while still being able to be a mum to Heath and of course Phoenix. So I hope that this list helps you guys. So I've separated into things that you need to buy in terms of just little accessories here and there that will help your healing. And then there's food and nutrition. And then I've put a little bit of mental health at the end. So first thing, let's talk about things you should try and buy and maybe incorporate into your hospital bag. I really like nappies. Hear me out. I really like having those adult pull-up nappies for after birth because you do tend to bleed quite a lot. And of course you can use a pad, that's easy as well. But I just found the nappies kept everything in and it didn't make it complicated. It felt comfortable, and also they were tight enough that it felt like my stomach was supported, because after you give birth everything's kind of a bit wobbly down there. I would really recommend adult nappies. They do the job. I wore those for I think the first 6 days when the bleeding was quite heavy, and then when that started to phase away, I swapped to normal pads. But that being said, I was lucky enough to not have any tearing or major swelling or any complications down there after my vaginal births. So I was really lucky with that. But what I did buy for Phoenix, just in case, because with Heath I had bad piles as well, so I really wanted to kind of prepare for that as much as I could. So I bought these instant perennial cold packs from Amazon, and then you just crack them and it instantly becomes cold, and that will be really soothing for down there, and you just use it like a pad. But like I said, didn't use them. In theory, I feel like these would have worked really, really well because it's got the absorbency of the pad, but it's also nice and cold. So it saves you having to do your own little pack. And then what I plan to do with this is pair it with these Freedom Mom Witch Hazel pad liners. So I just put one of these little wet wipes onto the pad, and then it'll be cold and soothing. So again, it just makes it a bit easier than having to make your own and pop them in the freezer. If you want to go that route, I would recommend it because it's so good and so refreshing to have that cold witch hazel on your bits after going through the ordeal that is birth. So these two I would say are pretty ND for those first days. With that, I would also recommend a peri bottle. I have one, I didn't use it, I have no idea where it is. I'm pretty sure it's being used for some sort of toy by now. With the peri bottle, I know some people recommend aloe vera and witch hazel along with the water. This is an extra soothing element as you're cleaning away downstairs. While we're on the subject of care, my friend Holly She started Mother Moon Herbals. If you're in Cape Town in South Africa, definitely go check out her brand. I'll link them down below. But this is their Healing Women Bath Tea, and I did this once or twice. To be honest, I didn't do it as much as I wanted to because apparently when you have 2 kids, bathing is a luxury, and it was more of a take a shower wherever you can kind of situation. It's so good for like a sitz bath down there, and it's all natural, and it's also safe for baby. I know that you can also use this in your peri bottle, so this is kind of like everything you need to help look after down there. Highly recommend. Next that I would recommend you buying is a big water bottle. This one I just got off Amazon, nothing fancy, but I prefer the one with like I prefer a bottle with a straw, because when you're feeding your baby, the last thing you want to be like is glugging some water trying to like balance your baby. This was just really easy to grab. I also use this for labor, so if you are preparing for labor as well, a bottle with a straw is really great. And then you can put some ice water in here, or coconut water is really hydrating as well. I think I went through about 1,000 of these a day in those first few days, because you are so thirsty when you start breastfeeding your baby. So prepare for that. I also like to fill this up before bed, and then I knew I had water next to my side of the bed. I didn't have to worry about it. So this was very well used and well loved. I don't have them downstairs, but what I would recommend purchasing if you can is some Bluetooth headphones. I use those in labor, and then I also used it while breastfeeding Phoenix in those first few weeks. I still use them, like every day, but in those first few weeks when Phoenix just basically like fed and slept, it was nice to have them, and then I could watch some series on my phone or my computer, and I didn't have to worry about disturbing him. Just a nice way for me to like take care of myself. What I do now with the headphones is when I'm putting him to sleep and he's getting a bit fussy, it helps me just to like tune it out, especially if I'm feeling a bit overwhelmed and a bit touched out and a bit like overstimulated. It helps me go back to my like happy place, my happy zen place. Next, let's talk about nutrition and what you can do to make sure you are nourishing your body postpartum, because as much as like all of these doodads are super important, nourishing your body is top priority. One of the best things Tom did for me was bring a bottle full of broth, like a thermos of broth to the hospital when Phoenix was like a day or 2 old, and it was just so good, especially if you've been having hospital food for that long and then you bring a homemade meal. Oh, it's life-changing. So if you can, if you're in a position where you can either meal prep or talk to your partner about cooking, or even doing a meal train. I know some people love doing those. Unfortunately, we didn't really have the like network for a meal train. However, we did have my mom, which is like better than all the meal trains in the world. One thing I did really like is again the Mother Moon cookies. The Mother Moon cookies were so easy to make. You just mix them together with a little bit of butter and I think water. But it's seriously, you just add like 2 ingredients. It's super easy. Mix them together, pop them in the oven, and you've got a breastfeeding friendly, nutritious, delicious cookie. With that in mind, I would recommend like keeping up with your prenatal vitamin if you can, or if you can switch to a postpartum vitamin. That's really great for just helping balance out your hormones and making sure you're looking after your body. One thing I loved, and I found made such a huge difference the second time around with Phoenix, is chamomile tea. I've read such great things about chamomile tea for your like breast milk production, for baby sleep, and for your sleep. So it's something I tried to do as much as I could with Phoenix. Again, in like the first 6 weeks, I just felt like my supply was a bit lower. I think it was also, personally, I don't think my body is made for like pumping and breastfeeding at the same time. It just, like mentally, it did not do well for me. It felt like there was too much pressure, and also I felt like my body was taking too much strain trying to like feed Phoenix exclusively and then breast pump. It just felt like a lot. That being said, I was trying to up my supply so that I could do that and just have a bit of a freezer stash. So I started taking 3 cups of chamomile tea a day, and it really helped settle Phoenix's gassy tummy. It helped boost my supply, and it also would really be nice if I took a cup of chamomile tea an hour before Phoenix's bedtime. I felt like it just calmed him a bit through my breast milk when it was time to go to sleep and do that final feed before he went to bed. Then one of my favorite things to have postpartum is jungle juice. I feel like this is something more for the Cape Town South African moms out there, because in the UK you cannot get blackberry elixir. I've tried my hardest to find it, but it's always unavailable and sold out everywhere. Basically, jungle juice is blackberry elixir, berry hydration sachet, some juice and water, and you just mix it together, and it's such a refreshing drink to have. I actually put like fennel tea and I mixed it with that, so it's kind of like extra hydrating and extra support for my breastfeeding journey. And it was really, really good. Then I also wanted to talk about this Let It Flow latte while we're on the topic of boosting your supply and just making sure you're staying hydrated. The Let It Flow latte is delicious. If you're looking for like a yummier treat, because I find fennel tea to be quite an acquired taste, this hot chocolate, oh, so good. You just add a little bit of honey. Wow, it is divine. And it's also toddler friendly, so if you have another kid, they can have it, like a healthier hot chocolate. It is divine. I feel like with Heath, I really put a lot of pressure on myself to be like a perfect mom, have it all done, have it all like down to a T. But this time around, it's not all on me. I have an amazing husband, and my mom was here, like I said, and I really just lent into the ability of asking for help, and that made such a huge difference. I don't know if anyone else is like this, but asking for help can be a bit tricky. But I think once you have 2 kids, you can't do it all by yourself. And I was really lucky to have the resources available to do that. So number 1, see how you can ask for help. Can you can you get help doing some meal prep? Can you have help looking after your second child? Can you get help to have 10 minutes to yourself in the morning just to get yourself dressed? Like, what can you do just to protect your space in whatever way that looks like? One thing I did with Phoenix was heavily emphasize rest. For the first 5 days of vaginal delivery, you stay in bed, then the next 2 days you stay around the bed, and then after that you stay in the house. And basically for 10 days you just hard rest. And I did that. I rested my butt off with Phoenix. And again, I was so lucky to have the resources available to do that. Tom's on paternity leave, my mom was here, so there was really no pressure on me to do anything. However, I realized that's not the case for everyone. Sometimes you just gotta get your ass up and do what you gotta do. But if you can rest, do it. Try and look at your self-care rituals. What can you do that's gonna make you feel a bit more calm and make you feel looked after? And of course, you gotta do that with comfy clothes, button-down pajamas, breastfeeding friendly tracksuits, you name it. Whatever you feel comfortable in, live in it. The last thing on my list in terms of how you can best look after your mental health, which I feel like is a bit of a contradiction now doing this vlog, but stay off social media best you can. If you're going to be breastfeeding your baby, there's a good chance you're going to be spending a lot of time on your phone, or even just having a newborn who's struggling to sleep during the night. You're probably going to spend a lot of nights on your phone scrolling, but bouncing, going shh. So being conscious of your time on social media can make a huge impact on how you feel. I feel like there's so many accounts out there that are telling you, don't do this with your baby, don't do that with your baby, you should be doing this, you should be doing that, and it's just like information overload. I felt that a lot with Heath. I would follow different sleep accounts and they'd be like, no, if you're doing this routine, it's wrong. If your baby's doing that, it's not normal. And that just freaked me out. It took away my ability to trust in myself and also to get to know Heath. With Phoenix, I feel more empowered now to recognizing his sleep cues, recognizing what's normal for him and what's normal for his sleep patterns, so that I don't really feel pressured to follow a routine. It's just not how our family works. It's just not right for our dynamic, and it's not right for Phoenix, and that's okay. But as a first-time mom, it felt very much like I have to get Heath on a routine. I have to get him down at 8 o'clock, and he has to sleep until 9:30, and da 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 da. It was just a lot. Hope that was helpful. Oh, one thing I did leave off my list is get yourself a good nipple butter, nipple balm, nipple shield if you need it, because those first 3 days for me, my nipples, ooh, they went through it. But I like an organic one, because most nipple balms need to be removed before you feed your baby, and this one is totally fine for breastfeeding. So, but if there's one thing I want you to take away from this vlog, is just think about what you can best do to make you feel better, make you feel good, make you feel loved, make you feel safe, because postpartum can be scary and you deserve to have as much love surrounding you during this time. And if you can surround yourself as much of like a physical hug as possible, gotta do it. So I hope all of these tips have helped you. I hope you managed to get some you time in as you start preparing for your baby and start preparing for this next beautiful chapter in your life. If you have any questions, just comment below and I'll be glad to help you out where I can if anything was unclear, or if you just wanted more to chat about. I'm always available. So comment below if you have any questions, if there are any vlogs you'd like to hear from me. I would love to hear from you. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel and like this video. It really helps support my channel. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!